We've had several discussions in SEDC that SEDC likely with economic development funds would step in and participate in the match. So I doubt very seriously that I can't tell you that they'll for sure vote that way, but it would very much surprise me if SEDC does not provide the match money on this grant.
Any discussion from the audience regarding this?
This is for basically our industrial park.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
People would ask, will this help the pressure on the north end in any way?
Yes.
In the homes and so on?
Absolutely.
I think they should know that.
Yes. It's going to help volume more than pressure. The pressure we hope to just stabilize, but we're trying desperately not to create a fourth water system. For those of you that don't know, we actually kind of have three already because each of the towers operates at a different elevation. We're trying very, very hard to keep Mike's guys happy, and the only way to do that is keep the water tower elevation at the same level as the one behind the police and fire department. So hopefully that'll end up at the same height, and the water pressure will stabilize there.
And Mike, once this is in operation, will it require us to put on more wells, or will we be able to supply with what we now run?
Any other comments regarding the water tower? If not, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Are there any petitions from the audience for this city council meeting? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
If you could come up to the microphone, please.
We all know we have a water problem around here, but I have been told that the water department is supposed to undo the fire hydrants at least every Thursday so that we don't have stinky water, because if it sits too long where I live at, the chlorine does not get into the water, so I don't have good water. When I try to wash clothes, it's brown, and it's horrible smelling coming out of the water thing, because they're not doing that. And there's several places here in Seminole that they say every Thursday those water hydrants are supposed to be run so that the dirty water goes out and the chlorine come in so that we have good water. And that's not being done.
Is that the current schedule, Mike?
I'm not aware of an every Thursday program.
No.
David?
Every 2 weeks?
No.
Twice a year. It's done twice a year.
Well, I was told by David at the water company when they worked on the sewers over here across the streets, when they had to dig up that lady's sewerage and replace that, I was told by him that there is someone that is supposed to come around to every fire hydrant in Seminole to undo those fire hydrants so we don't have stinky or brown water, or because if you don't do it, every so often we end up with dirty water. And every 6 months is not enough.
Ma'am, what is your address?
Right next door.
Okay. Are your neighbors having the same problem?
Yes, sir.
Well, we have it out in our neighborhood also.
I'm not familiar with anybody, I'm not sure why David would tell you that they're supposed to be done that frequently. That's how they've been done every, couple times a year for a long time. One of the biggest problems we've had is that our water comes from wells. And the thing that we've looked at, that we've talked about in the last year or two, is the addition of filters at the area of the wells to help filter out the sediment, which is the most common thing responsible for causing the discoloration of the water. We talked about, if I'm not mistaken, getting the approval to initially start with, was it just 1 or 2 of those?
Right.
To start putting those on there, but we have, more than 20 wells in the city, and so it's going to take a while to get a filter for each one. When you run your water, though, it doesn't matter if you're opening up the water to the fire hydrant versus you open it up in your bathtub. When you're running that water, it's pulling new water in through there. And so you're still going to get fresh water coming. It's not like that water just sits there in the pipe and you use that for 6 months. And
But
so
you don't understand. It doesn't matter how long I run that water. If that fire hydrant is not undone every so often, I have brown water.
Sure.
And it's going to run my water bill way up high to keep running that water.
Sure.
Mayor, we can address this.
Sure.
Another
Maybe have
time.
Mike
We'll
come by
get
and
her
take a look
fixed
at it and
up,
see
you
what we
bet.
can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other appearances or petitions from the audience?
Good evening, Mayor and city officials. My name is Reverend Larry Payne, pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church here in Seminole. We're here tonight, and some of the members are here with me. Have a problem down there by our church. We're located at 301 Gale, on the corner of Gale and Highland. And just south of us, there are several vacant lots leading back eastward to the old Booker T. Washington School. The grass there is pretty tall. It hadn't been mowed probably in the last 2 years. And we have a great concern that being that close to our church, it needs to be mowed in any way possible. It's our hopes within the next year or so in our future plans to acquire that property to use it for parking for our church. And so we want to know tonight, is there any way possible that the grass can be, it is tall. And I'm not sure if tall grass like that, as much as it's been raining, brings out snakes.
Sure.
We have not seen any, but I would not be surprised if they're not there. So
One of the things is, I know this was actually addressed, if I'm not mistaken, at the last meeting. And I think it might have been you that brought it up a meeting or two ago. Oh, I'm sorry, it was. And so, the problem becomes, number one, as far as the tall grass, it's a problem in the court system. And so what happens is, that's what our city attorney has been working at, is trying to get those things, pushed through that way. But it's not an easy task to get these mowed as quickly as we would like. Where are we at on that one? I know that's, and then the other thing I might add is, one of the more difficult parts of this situation is a lot of these cases that we've been working on, such as this, we lost our code enforcement officer, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And that's been a huge problem in the continuing prosecution of some of these people. And so, but Brad, if you could address that?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, first of all, I don't know who owns the property, and I don't usually see those tickets until they're written by the code enforcement officer and they get to me, which I routinely sign, and they're already docketed for a court docket. I'm just trying to think. I was asking Steve. I don't recall seeing anything, but that's not to say they haven't been cited. If we know who the property owner is, that's relatively easy. We try to contact them and send a citation to them. But there's a way we can get it done. I was just sitting here talking to Steve, and if you maybe after the meeting or something, somebody come talk to us, and we'll get it set up. We'll find a resolution.
We're a little disoriented right now. We lost our code enforcement guy that handles all that, but our police chief has picked up the ball, and our police department is now underway and trying to get the thing reestablished. So we're working on that. Absolutely going to try to get it fixed.
If my pastor wouldn't mind that I say something, and I can see it from here. Last year I came up and